What's up, guys? Welcome to the Cash Craft, your daily dose of finance and technology news and updates. Three brothers just walked out of a Manhattan federal courtroom as convicted sex traffickers. Two of them were among the most successful luxury real estate brokers in America. This case tore through one of the country's wealthiest industries like a shockwave. The Alexander brothers, Tal, Oren, and Alon, built an empire selling penthouses and oceanfront estates to billionaires. They closed deals worth hundreds of millions. They were fixtures at industry galas, their faces on glossy real estate magazines. And behind that polished facade, federal prosecutors say they ran a years-long operation of drugging and assaulting women. The conviction came down Monday after a 5-week trial that exposed a pattern so systematic it forced an entire industry to confront what it had ignored. Here's what the evidence showed. Between 2010 and 2021, the brothers allegedly used their wealth and connections to lure dozens of women into situations where they were drugged, assaulted, and trafficked. The prosecution presented testimony from multiple victims who described being given drinks laced with substances that left them incapacitated. Some woke up with no memory of what happened. Others remembered fragments, enough to know they'd been violated, but not enough to piece together a complete narrative until years later. The brothers didn't work alone. Prosecutors argued they operated as a coordinated unit, using their real estate network to identify targets and their luxury properties as locations for assaults. Tal and Oren Alexander weren't just successful brokers. They were among the top producers at Douglas Elliman, one of the nation's premier luxury real estate firms. They'd represented properties in Miami, New York, and Los Angeles. Their client list read like a Forbes 400 directory. That access, that credibility, became a weapon. What made this case particularly complex was how long it took to build. The alleged crimes spanned more than a decade. Many victims didn't come forward immediately, some because they feared retaliation from men with deep pockets and powerful connections, others because they struggled to process what had happened to them. When accusations finally began surfacing publicly in recent years, the real estate industry initially responded with silence, no statements, no investigations, just a quiet distancing from names that had once been celebrated. The federal trial changed that calculus. Over 5 weeks, jurors heard testimony that painted a portrait of systematic predation. The defense argued the encounters were consensual, that the brothers were being targeted because of their wealth and visibility. But the prosecution presented a pattern too consistent to dismiss. Similar methods, similar drugs, similar trauma across multiple victims who didn't know each other and had no reason to coordinate false accusations. Here's what most coverage of this case misses. This isn't just about 3 individuals. It's about the structural failures that allowed this to continue for over a decade. The luxury real estate world operates on relationships, discretion, and access. It's an industry built on trust. Trust that the broker showing you a $50 million penthouse is who they say they are. That same trust can become a trap. The Alexander brothers leveraged their professional credibility to create situations where victims felt safe until they weren't. And when whispers started circulating years ago, the industry's instinct was to protect its reputation rather than investigate the claims. The conviction Monday sends a signal, but it also raises uncomfortable questions. How many people in their orbit knew something was wrong and said nothing? How many firms benefited from their sales commissions while turning away from the rumors? The real estate industry has no centralized licensing authority with the power to investigate ethics complaints the way medical boards or bar associations do. Brokers are regulated state by state, firm by firm. That fragmentation makes it easier for predators to move between markets, between firms, between victims. The question you should be asking yourself is whether the systems designed to protect people in high-stakes, relationship-driven industries are actually working, or just performing the appearance of oversight. This case broke open because victims found the courage to speak, and federal prosecutors had the resources to build a trafficking case. But how many situations never reach that threshold? Personally, I'm watching to see if this verdict forces structural change in how luxury real estate firms vet and monitor their top producers. or if it just becomes a cautionary tale that fades once the news cycle moves on. That's all for today, folks. If you found this helpful, make sure to like and subscribe to The Cashcraft for more finance and tech news. Drop a comment below with your thoughts, and I will see you in the next one.